On today's episode, we are making activated charcoal soap. Hello everyone, my name is Brendan. I am one of the co-owners of The Rustic Tub, our small bath and body care company in the heart of tiny Ontario. Now I know I said I wasn't going to do introductions like that again because we've done a lot, but there are so many people, several people new coming in, so we will probably continue the fun trend forever. Going right on into it today, right from the introduction, today we are doing, I'm going to call it one of our basic soaps, but it is our activated charcoal soap. So our activated charcoal is actually one of our unscented bars of soap that we do. We just wanted to add a little bit of flair to it instead of just having it as a basic white bar. That's not to say that that's not always good. We just wanted to add a little bit of life into it and a little bit of a different factor to draw people into it more. Now, going right on into it, activated charcoal is really, really good, beneficial, and healthy for the inside of your body. So what does it mean when you put it in a soap? So I always like to tell our customers that activated charcoal is really good if you can get the charcoal inside of you. In the matter of when it comes to soaping and saponification, activated charcoal is really good for the skin. Now, what I mean by that is if you suffer from breakouts, acne, psoriasis, rosacea, anything where the skin can become irritated, that means your pores are opening up to allow access to come in. So this also is a downward spiral because you can let in dirt, bacteria, any other forms of anything that can get into the body. I shouldn't properly say attack right off the bat, but activated charcoal is also really good and beneficial if you can get that onto your body as well. So we always say to people, if you don't want anything that's scented and if you want to try something new, activated charcoal is the way to go. If you suffer from acne, breakouts, a little bit of skin lesions here or there, activated charcoal is the way to go because that way the charcoal has the ability to get into the body and help detoxify that. Going into our ingredients that we're using for this episode today, we are following one of our standard recipes. So if you've been following us for a while, you know what's going to come up next and why we use it. If you are new to it and just discovering us, don't worry, I got you covered. We're going right on into it. We keep a very basic set of ingredients for our soap because we love what we use. And as a great person once said, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. We have our standard recipe that we love and we use it for most of our soaps. We are going to be experimenting down the road with other stuff coming up, but for now, this one is our tried, true, and classic blend, so we're just going to be using that one for today's video. Now, we did our blend on soap calc. Once again, I will swear by soap calc up and down because it gives you the proper measurements. If you want to play with your soap recipes, you can do so there. There'll probably be a video down the road about that one. But diving right on into it, we are going in strong with our shea butter. We have our coconut oil as well, a little bit of stearic acid to help set the bar and hardness into our soap. We have our bamboo activated charcoal that we use for our soaps. And we have bentonite clay, which comes from a volcano, and that's also an extra little kicker step into skincare, and it's really good for the skin as well, and it's going to help with lathering for this soap. We are also using our castor oil, our avocado oil, and then we are going to be using a canola oil as well, just to get it going. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to get gloved up, I'm going to get my mask ready. I already have our lye water off to the side set to go, so we don't need to do that process today. We can just jump right on into it as we normally do. First things first, we go ahead, we plug in our little elemental burner just off to the side, so it's a nice little hot plate. That's where we're going to be melting down all of our stuff. And we did buy new buckets. So I know in past videos I said you don't have to be fancy. You don't. Whatever works for you, works for you. I was sold on these buckets for the first 4 years of our company. So this one's going to be a bit of a change up today for the video. As well, I have our lye water just sitting out into the back, just to keep it out of the way for now and separate while we go ahead and mix up this nice little concoction here. Now, to go forward, I will say we do things a little bit differently. Everyone has their own taste of what they like to do, how they like to add stuff. No one is wrong in the sense of this realm of creativity. You do have to have a couple items that are measured out accordingly and properly, but when it comes to a creative side of things, to each their own. I am just one of many soapers out there, slash body care people out there. Everyone has their own technique. Everyone has their own way. I like to show you how I do it. So it's going to be a little bit of, we melt everything down. We add in our other liquid oils. We kind of let it sit until it cools off a little bit. And then we blend it all together and throw it into the mold. So I'm just giving you what I do from my firsthand experience. And if you have a different way, awesome. To get right on into it, my process for that one is I will add my coconut oil and I will add my shea butter, and then I will throw in the stearic acid, let that all melt down, and then I'll be combining all of the other ones. I am literally procrastinating adding in the coconut oil because she is a little frozen because it's been so cold here lately. Okay, for this, I don't know what I'm going to have to use. It's either going to be the wooden spoon to try to mash it out. Hopefully, I can carve some of it out. So we will see. Okay, fun fact, that bucket was way too hard to carve into, to mash into. I did find a smaller bucket of coconut oil, so I'm just going to have to go ahead and get rid of this one first while I can. The coconut oil was a lot more frozen than I expected it to, but we turned it into a nice little ice sculpture game that I did have to do off camera because there was a good chunk of words in there that cannot be in public access. So going into our next portion now, I throw in our shea butter. So I'm just going to go ahead. Oh, I'm going to reset the scale first. Going into that one, I will throw in our mixture for our shea butter. And then once we have our desired amount for the shea butter, we're going to go ahead and pop it into our double broiler system, which is just our little hot plate that we have in our studio. Now with this ready to go, like I said, we're going to pop it on and we're going to melt it down until it's a fine liquid state. And then while it's melting down, I actually go ahead and I will add in my stearic acid now, just as a nice little topper off for it. Once again, this is to help with the suds of the soap, and it also makes it harder. So you will have a harder bar of soap that will last longer. Once it is melted down, this is what we finally got. Everything's in the liquid state that I need. So from this portion, this baby still is fairly warm. So what I do is I add my room temperature oils, and then I bring it all down to a proper room temperature, and then we will be adding in this lovely little guy. And to get it started off, I go from the lowest amount of oil to the highest. So I start with our castor. And castor oil is really good for drawing in moisture to the skin. So this is what's going to really help you moisturize the bar of soap, essentially. Okay, I'm also trying to be a lot more organized with wiping up my mess this year, so bear with as I do that. And up next is my avocado oil. So once again, working from lowest to the highest. This one is my medium liquid. And when I say liquid, I mean oil, obviously, because that's what I'm pouring right now. Okay, last but not least is going to be the canola oil. So I'm going to go ahead and get that to where I need it to go. It comes out fast, so I tend to go very quiet in these moments. With all the oils added, this base is now ready to go. So we are ready to add our lye mixture in with that one. But before we do, I kind of go into a panic pouring state when I get into making it. So I'm going to leave it off to the side, and I'm going to prep out everything that I need to prep out now. So what's going to happen is you can see me set up, and then I'm going to change the camera angle so you can kind of see the mixing process and the pouring process. Because this soap is one colored, it's not going to be the most exciting pour or the swirl technique for it, but you do get to see it from a different angle at least. Like I said as well, once I get into the soapification mode of this, that's when I'm going to be adding in the activated charcoal, and that's when I'm going to be adding in the bentonite clay as well. So it's probably going to be about a little mixture of both for it, of equal parts. You don't have to put a lot of your charcoal powder in it. That baby makes it opaque, and if it blows up and gets anywhere, it's a fun staining time. I have learned from trial and error. I am also busting out our brand new little baby. So this was a Christmas present from me from my partner. So July was in on it. So if you don't know Winston and Walter, they make some of the best soap molds out there. I only speak of this company with love because it is absolutely amazing. We have their soap molds when they did the wood ones. These are now the full-blown blue, I'm going to say plastic resin ones. Don't shoot me if I don't know all of the hand. I just know it's beautiful. I will say the best part about these molds, especially with what she does, is she thinks about the people who it's for. So these slide off, and it just helps you get out the silicone mold from the outside, so it's easier to demold, so you don't have to fight with any parchment paper or any kind of thing like that. You tip it up, pull it out, everything's set. The other great thing is with these bars, it comes with the measurements on it already, so you can pre-measure out your swirls, little designs for it. Now, we are not doing our swirls anymore because we are looking at packaging for our products, but this also helps with our swirls if we want to do on top of the designs or if we want to make it as even as possible. It is going to be a flat top, but you can still swirl a nice little design in it and go from there. So we're going to leave that off to the side. I'm not going to try to wreck these molds within an inch of my life because I'm in love with them so much. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to get that off to the side. I'm going to pour in our oils and our lye water, and I'm going to get suited up in our safety gear, and I'm going to take it from a different camera angle so you can see exactly what's happening. Okay, and keeping it very simple, we just go ahead, pour in our lye solution with the water. I do a 2-to-1 ratio because it's just easier to work with. I like a little bit of a longer working time with our soap. And that just really helps me going forward. So now is the good part of the soapification process with the mix. So I will tell you right now, with the soapification process, the brighter colors or the more opaque colors that you're seeing is the soapification process. Everything on here that looks streaky is still oils waiting for the catalyst to occur. Once the soapification process has started and the oils are mixing in, I'm just going to go ahead and add in my activated charcoal. And then because I don't want any of the mixtures to kind of stir up and puff up, I'm going to go ahead, bring it in with the mixer and mix it all up. For safety, I go ahead and detach the blender from it just because I don't need it going off in this process. I'm going to leave this off to the side to wipe down. And finally, with everything in play, we have our mold set up, silicone liner ready to go, and our soap mixture ready to go as well. So I'm going to get it to the camera as much as I can. If not, it is what it is. And if you want to avoid air bubbles, you can always do a high pour. This is a trick from the makeup world. You're not going to get rid of all of the air bubbles, but it does help reduce it. You just have to have a good constant flow going. And because it is a little bit of a slower one, there's no fragrance oils to kick it or essential oils to quicken up the soapification. I'm taking my time pouring because I want this to be a perfect bar of soap. All right, and there we go with our pour. So this is what it will be. I will go ahead and I will put the plastic covering on top of it just because I want to have the heat sealed in as well. So I want this soap to gel. We need it to get into the gelling phase. So we will uncover this little bad boy tomorrow and see what we get. All right, so it's been about 24 hours. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this apart and I'm going to get the soap out. And I'm just going to show you how easy it is, especially with the Winston and Malter molds. So the sides slide off, super easy. We are able to do that, just pop it out. And I got some spillage from the charcoal when I poured it yesterday, but that's okay. They're super easy to clean anyway. And this is your loofah soap. Yeah, I said that right. Had to make sure. Anyway, you can easily get the sides off of the soap if it wants to set. I am currently having issues with my coffee whiskey soap. I had a fun little mixture go on there where I may have forgot to add an ingredient too late. So we'll see if it sets up. And then you just want to stand it up, just kind of gently press the underside of it so you can get movement. Then once it pops out, it'll be a nice little easy slip out. Sometimes the soap will like to go back in and hang on to, oh my gosh, the airflow in there. It will constrict it, kind of suck it back into place. I can't think of the word right now. It does happen sometimes, but once you get that momentum of it, it easily pops out into your loaf of soap. So this is the 7.5 pound mold. I'm probably going to get 22 to 23 bars out of this one. Now I do have my soap cutter here with me, so I'm going to switch up the camera angle so we can see the cut. This is a standard black soap. There's going to be no special designs in it or anything, but it's always fun to showcase what we have anyway. So when I line up my soap, I want it to be flush to the side of our little cutter, and then I will normally inch it up just so there's about 1 millimeter or so into it. And it's just so I can get rid of the front end. If I'm doing any specialty swirls or anything, this will normally be the piece that doesn't get touched. So this one will always be left off to the side as a nice little tester one if it's something we haven't made before. I'll clean off the edge of the soap cutter, and then I'll just inch it forward piece by piece. I already have it set to the desired length that I like. So I'm just going to go ahead, bring it down. That'll be the first one. I always like to check the first one to see, move it up again, and same action as before. So this is our standard bar of soap. You can see the little air bubbles that get trapped inside of it from the pour. That is what we try to avoid. We're going to go ahead and finish this up, and we will see you when all the bars are cut. All right, so this is our activated charcoal bar of soap. From here on out, I will normally, with my gloves on, I'll just run it along the sides because sometimes you can see it has little bits just hanging off from the cutter. So I just like to have a nice uniform look with all my soap. Some people will bevel it with a nice little, it's actually called a beveler. We do not do that with our bars of soap, not yet anyway. Is it in the future? Who knows? But this is essentially it. So like the rest of them, we will let them all sit out. I'm just going to go ahead and finish this out. And once they're all set, we do stamp them. We wait another 24 hours for that one. And once they are stamped, we will let them cure for about 3.5 to 4 weeks before they are ready to sell. With that being said and done, we actually did get 23 bars of soap out of this, so that's great. Like I said, we're going to go ahead, we're going to let them cure up for about another 24 hours before we stamp them. I won't bore anyone with that one. In our previous videos, we did stamp a couple of our soap. But that also means we are done for this week's episode. So thank you so much for coming back. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you like what you see, please don't forget to like, subscribe, follow us on our social medias. We are going to get better this year. I have it on my schedule. If you haven't watched our top 5 list of how to make your business more for you, go back and check that out. I just touched base on scheduling, so that will be changing this whole time. And we have everything located on our Patreon. If you want to see more, some behind the scenes stuff, we are going to be more scheduled with that one now as well. And until next time, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully to see you next time. Bye, everyone.